The happiest day of my life turned into the most terrifying day I had ever experienced when my own father tried to take one of my newborn babies. I had just given birth to triplets after a difficult pregnancy, and while I was still weak in my hospital bed, my family decided that one of my children should belong to my brother and his wife. What happened next ended a relationship I had spent my entire life trying to save. My name is Allison Parker. I lived in Nashville with my husband Ryan, and before this happened, we had been married for 6 years. Ryan was loving and dependable, but my relationship with my own family had always been complicated. My father, Stephen, expected everyone to obey him. My mother, Diane, avoided conflict, and my younger brother, Eric, was always treated like the favorite. Eric and his wife, Vanessa, had desperately wanted children for years, but they had never been able to have one. I felt sorry for them, but I never imagined their pain would become a reason for them to believe they were entitled to my child. When Ryan and I discovered I was pregnant, we were thrilled. We thought we were preparing for one baby until a routine appointment changed everything. The doctor discovered that we were expecting triplets. The pregnancy became difficult very quickly. I needed constant monitoring, and simple things became exhausting. Ryan did everything he could to help me, preparing the house, buying supplies, and taking care of anything that required too much effort. I was frightened, but we were excited to meet our 3 babies. My family knew how difficult the pregnancy was, but they offered little support. Vanessa became especially strange whenever the babies were mentioned. Once, she quietly said that some people seemed to get everything they wanted. I knew she was hurting, so I ignored it. Then, when I was 8 months pregnant, Ryan had to travel overseas for work. He hated leaving me, but he promised to return as quickly as possible. Before leaving, he told me to call him immediately if anything happened. 2 nights later, I woke up with painful contractions. I called my mother and told her I needed help. Instead of coming over, she asked whether I was sure I was not overreacting. Then my father got on the phone and told me that if it was really an emergency, I should call an ambulance. I was 8 months pregnant with 3 babies alone in my house, and my own parents still refused to come. So I called emergency services. At the hospital, doctors confirmed that the babies were coming early. Because I was carrying triplets, they decided I needed an emergency C-section. I was terrified and kept thinking about Ryan, who was thousands of miles away. Then I heard the first cry, then the second, then the third. All 3 babies were alive and doing well. I cried with relief. Ryan called as soon as he could, and I told him our babies were here. He promised he was coming home as fast as possible. After the birth, I called my mother. I wanted to believe that becoming a grandmother would change her. She told me she was coming to the hospital with my father, Eric, and Vanessa. At first, everything seemed normal. Then my father looked at the 3 babies and asked how I planned to manage them. I laughed weakly and said I would probably survive on very little sleep. Nobody laughed. My father looked at Eric and then back at me. "You have 3 babies. Your brother has none." Then he said the words that made my entire body go cold. "We think you should let Eric and Vanessa raise one." I honestly thought I had misunderstood him. But he repeated it. They wanted one of my children. I immediately said no. Eric told me they could provide a wonderful home. Vanessa stared at the babies as though she was already choosing one. My mother told me to at least think about it. I looked at all of them and said the only thing that mattered. They are my children. All 3 of them. Nobody was taking one. My father became furious. He called me selfish and said I was refusing to help my own brother. Then he did something I never thought he was capable of. He picked up one of my newborn babies. I told him to put my baby down. He ignored me and started moving toward Vanessa. I reached for my child and demanded that he give the baby back. Instead, my father hit me. For a moment, I could not believe what had happened. Then I heard my baby crying, and every ounce of fear disappeared. I pressed the emergency button. Hospital staff rushed into the room. I told them exactly what happened. My father had taken my baby after I told him no, and he had hit me when I tried to stop him. Security arrived, followed by the police. My father tried to call it a family misunderstanding, but I refused to protect him anymore. I told the truth. Eric had encouraged him, and then Eric ran when I called for help. When Ryan finally returned, I told him everything. He was furious and heartbroken, but he helped me handle everything properly. We cooperated with the investigation and made sure my family could never get near our children again. The legal process took time, but my father faced serious consequences, and Eric was also held accountable for his involvement. For me, the most important decision was not made by a judge. I made it myself. I cut my family out of our lives. No calls. No visits. No excuses. Months later, Ryan and I finally held the celebration we had dreamed about. Our friends filled the house with laughter, food, balloons, and gifts. 3 tiny babies slept nearby. I sat on the couch holding one of them while Ryan sat beside me. He looked at me and asked if I was okay. I looked around the room at the people who had actually shown up for us. Then at my 3 children. For the first time, I understood something I had spent years refusing to accept. Family is not just about blood. Family is the person who gets on the first flight home when you need them. Family is the person who protects you when you are vulnerable. Family is the person who respects your boundaries, instead of trying to take what belongs to you. I had spent my entire life trying to earn love from people who believed love meant obedience. Now I knew better. My father thought having 3 babies meant I could afford to lose one. He was wrong. I did not have 3 children to give away. I had 3 children to protect, and from that day forward, protecting them became the most important promise I had ever made.